Hey everyone, this is Moto X-Man here, and today we are doing a Cobra 50 Junior pit stop. So you can do this at the track, you can do it at home. I recommend doing this pit stop every time they go to the track, or 4 hours. So every 4 hours you should change the clutch milk, Cobra clutch milk, and you should check the CFD. I already checked the CFD, I already prepared everything. So there's a little pin that goes right here into the fill area. You put it right here. You got to put the kickstarter down, screw it in here, lock it in, and then you take this little tool socket that you get from Cobra. You put it over here. I already checked it twice at 100 pounds-feet of torque, and it goes right in here. Find the groove. There we go. And to get to that, you have to take off the front sprocket. So once you take this front sprocket off, that's one of the tools. So the tools that we're going to use today to do everything is, yes, I already explained two tools, and that is to check the CFD. Since I've already done it, that's why I went to it first. So check the CFD at 100 pounds-feet of torque. Make sure that you have that pin that locks the engine up, which is this pin right here. It goes in about that far back and locks it in so you can check it. The other one that you need is an 8mm hex and can't remember this one. I think it's a 4mm to get the seat and the side panels off. Sorry. The other tools that you need to get the sprocket off is, what you're going to need is snap spring pliers to get the snap ring off. And then you get the sprocket off. So you can put this socket attachment onto the engine where the sprocket goes. The other things you need to get the air filter off, you need screwdriver, flathead, to get the clamps off. And then when you change the fluid in this, there are two areas: the fill and the drain. So you can use your 8mm to get the fill off and the drain off and put it back on once it is. Now, luckily, when you transition from P-Dub to Cobra 50, it still uses the same amount. So not the same oil, but the same amount, 300 milliliters. So I have it marked right here. The Cobra and the P-Dub are the same. And then when you change the air filter, I'll get to that soon, but you need a new air filter. And to fill up the oil, you need a little straw, rubber straw, because if you lay the bike down on its side, it will spill out. So let's get to it. I almost forgot that the 21mm will take off the spark plug. And this is the spark plug that we use for this Cobra 50 Junior 2025. So you don't have to take the tank off to get to it. I already have the fill plug off, and reason being is because I already checked the CFD on the other side. So that pin goes in, screws in perfectly. You got to move the tire a little bit here and there just to get the pin all the way in. So right now we're taking out the drain plug. It's right under here. It's a little tight. Then we gotta encourage it to come off. So there we go. Make sure you have your drain bucket. And then after you take these plugs off, inspect them, see if they have any dirt. There we go. We're gonna let that drain, and then after it drains, a little messy. I'll tip it over a little bit. Just for good faith, let's tip it again. Yeah, there we go. I thought so. A little more came out. All right. Now let's put the plug back in. Oh. Make sure you don't strip those threads. Use your 8mm hex. Put it back in. Nice and tight. And I'll do one snug and then one last snug. So. Alright, let's go fill it up. Alright, we're going to fill the pitcher up. 300 milliliters. You know me, take a little extra. Let's see. That's kind of perfect. So, but like you said, or like I said, every time you drain these things into a funnel, or when you turn the pitcher over, there's still always a lot left. So let's put this tube in. And the tube, don't tell my wife I used one of her straws, her rubber straws, for her gigantic cups. So we're going to fill the COBRA up. Make sure that's all clean. Didn't even inspect it. It's my bad on my part. Alright. Looks alright. Let's put this in here. Just like that. Alright. Hold that right there. Now I'm pouring. Probably can't see in the video, but I'm pouring the oil in. Almost done. There we go. Okay, that's all. Nice and easy, okay? Nice and clean. I suggest get one of these funnels, little one, and a straw, either from your husband or wife. Just take it. They would think they lost it. All right, so what we're gonna do, we're gonna put the fill plug back in, and then we'll do the spark plug right after that. And then we'll do the air filter. That's a little bit more intense than the PW50. So, then this thing is ready to go. Ride around, have fun, or ready to race, you know. It's always fun watching them have fun. These plugs are tapered. They like to dance around. There we go. Go. Again. There we are. There's your oil change. So to get this spark plug out, I used a I don't know where it went. It was a 21 millimeter wrench. A lot of people literally take off the plastic and the gas tank. I don't know why. Maybe to get that socket in there, but you don't have to. So for me to get the rubber off of it, I had to like just work its way through. So let's get this out. There we go. It's kind of hard to do this with a phone. So, boop, boop, boop. All right, the new one's on. Everything's on. That little break there was probably maybe 2 minutes. I couldn't do it with one hand, so I had to use two hands. But it's very tight in there. Use the 21 millimeter. Fits right on these. So air filter, and then we are complete. So use the 4 millimeter to get the screws out. You just slide this off. Goes right in there. That slides right into this nut and washer. The air filter is not that bad, but you know, good practice. So what we're gonna do is when you take these off, you unscrew the boot cone, and then once you get this part off, you do not take the air filter off first. You take the air filter and the cone out at the same time. But before you do that, take this off, and then you use a little cap that COBRA has. I got it right here. I got the little cap that COBRA has. I'll put that on there. And then once everything's out, what you want to do is clean the inside of the cone and then clean inside of the box. Use carb cleaner. You can use a wet rag, but make sure it's dry after you install it back all in. But that's what we're going to do right now. So I got the light to show you guys, but there's a lot of debris in there. These covers, you got to constantly change the air filter. So as much as possible, buy a couple. I have 3 of them, so I can circulate them if I don't have a clean one, or I can't clean one, let's just say. They're like the beat ups. They're low to the ground. They're like vacuums. So here's the COBRA cap for the intake side of the carburetor. So that's dirty. And then coming over here, you take a look. This has a little dirt in it, not much, but I'll use carb cleaner to get it out, and then we'll put the clean one on. So, but this is the stuff I use to clean, and then the red one, and then I use that to put the oil back on. Sometimes I'll use this. That's when I use water. So I'll do that, and then I'll do that, and then once I'm all done, it's dry for 2 days, I'll use the filter oil. So either I'm going to use the old one or the new one. I doubt I'm not going to use the new one. So, but let's inspect the new one, newish, or the old one, I mean. So looks pretty clean. The inside looks clean. Yeah, looks pretty good. Looks pretty good. So we'll use the old one. I cleaned it up pretty good. And once I clean the boot, put the boot back on with the air filter, and then I'll spray it when it's in there, so you don't get your hands all sticky. Or you can wear gloves, rubber gloves, and then put it in. That's up to you. So everything's back in place. Everything's installed. I cleaned everything out. I squirted it all inside with brake cleaner or carb cleaner, same thing. And then I put the boot and the air filter back together. And then I put both of them in here, slid them in. And there's like a little slot right here on the side that the boot horn, funnel, whatever you want to call it, goes into. It like locks itself in. And then you tighten this back up with a flathead screwdriver. Make sure this is sprayed everywhere. But that's it. So I'll put it all back together. This is Moto X Man. Like and subscribe. Thank you.